Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Trade the Pool live stream here on Wednesday. I hope you're all doing all right. Tiny T's already in the chat with Happy Hump Day. Put your tickers in the chat, and we'll be back right after this. All right, welcome, Sohack Duggan. Welcome to the show. So we're just going to start off the show with our mindset piece that Deanna's going to run with. So we're going to go straight into that right now. Deanna, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. So starting with the mindset warm-up, this is just part of it we're going to do here together. If you're interested in more details, you can always check out my channel. But we're going to start with 2-minute power pose. So you can stand next to your desk with your arms overhead, or standing up or sitting up tall with your hands on your hips, and we're just going to do some breathing together. Okay. So in through your nose, hold at the top for a couple seconds, and big exhale out your mouth like you're blowing out birthday candles. Hold at the bottom and smile as you inhale. Holding at the top before you exhale. Big inhale through your nose. I like to couple this thinking of things I'm thankful for and grateful for. Big inhale through your nose, sitting up straight and tall. Smile as you inhale, thinking about what you're grateful and thankful for. And you can even incorporate a bit of a stretch. Maybe your arms are overhead and you can lean side to side. Stretch your neck. Keep your chin lifted. We're using our body to send a signal to our mind that we're confident and we're ready for the day. Last big exhale. And that's it. All right. Great job. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to take you through a quick visualization. And as part of this visualization, we are going to focus on winning and losing. So I'm going to start with losing. Gil, if you can cut the music one more time. Focusing on losing first. So it's helpful if you close your eyes, visualize your chart, get yourself oriented, see your chart, see the candles moving around, spot your entry. And as you're preparing to enter, you enter the trade and price begins to move against you, heading toward your stop loss. You're getting very, very close to your stop loss. Pay attention to the sensations in your body. Maybe if you're like me, you might feel a lump in your throat, a pit in your stomach. Maybe you feel your cheeks flush, your heart start to speed up. Focusing on normalizing your body sensations, you're fine, okay? Send the signal to your brain through your body by sitting up nice and tall, like you have a string on the top of your head, shoulders back, chin lifted. This is a posture of confidence, and we're telling our brain we're okay, we're fine. Pay attention to your emotions that you're feeling. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's sadness, fear, disgust. It's fine to recognize those emotions. You can even acknowledge I'm feeling angry and focus on turning them down, tuning them down. And then shift over to your thoughts and think about the thoughts that you experience as you are losing a trade or a trade is going against you. And work on replacing those thoughts with 3 thoughts that can serve you. This is a valid trade. I risked appropriately. Every trader takes losses. Losing is part of the game. To be a trader, I have to be okay with losses. Take a big breath. Accept the loss, move on, and reset. Now bring yourself back to the start again. You're entering a trade. And this time, price goes in your favor, in your direction, heads up towards your take profit or in the direction that you were anticipating. Pay attention to your body sensations. Maybe your heart rate is starting to speed up. Maybe you're breathing faster or holding your breath. Focus on normalizing the reaction in your body. Pay attention to your emotions. Likely you're feeling happy, maybe excited. And it's fine to have those emotions, but again, turning them down, tuning them down, and tune in now to your thoughts. Okay, whatever thoughts that you're experiencing as you're in a winning trade, I'm not a hero. I'm not a genius. This is just what I do. The edge is playing out. And then you take your profit, and again, you reset. Every trade that you take is a new trade, starting fresh, starting new. And that is a fast, quick, and easy mindset warm-up for you. So, all right. Thanks, Scott, for joining me.
Thanks, Deanna. You're welcome. Trouble is, I feel too chilled out now to actually do anything. So if you just want to carry on for a while. All right, we'll get back. Let's have a look at the chat. Trader Live.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. August. Trader Life, Scott. Good morning. Mihai, good morning.
All right, Trader Life, I tell you. What was the ticker? ITC. We left it yesterday, didn't we? We left it on the show yesterday. Where are we? ITCI, eh? Right. Trader Live, I'll let you guess what happened here. I'll show you where the show ended on this ticker. The show ended right about, and I literally about 4:02. I think it was a couple of minutes late. And that bear candle there was kind of where I entered the short. So 2 levels. There was stacked liquidity above here, but I mean, no doubt about it. That was a nice trade. It was a nice trade. It was just it topped out a little bit higher. I'm going to tell you, right? I'll tell you where my stop was, because I thought I'm going to give this some room. Now, obviously, I'm limited on the risk that I can take, right? So it's not a cash account. So my stop was, any ideas in the chat where my stop was on ITCI? Mihai, I did see Wiser this morning. What a second day play that was. We'll take a look at that very, very shortly. Your strategy, he added and crushed. I know what you's going to do. I know that. I'm just right. I'll tell you where my stop was then. So I thought I'm going to give it some room because I was in this one. I couldn't risk the up to 86. So I risked 84. I left the trade on. Wasn't sitting there kind of monitoring it. And it stopped me out at 84. Just above. A little bit of slippage. And then, yes, look at what happened directly after that. Straight down to that first buy side pull, and then some after that. So nice call again on ITC. Scott saying he loves the morning meditations. A lovely addition, an excellent addition to the show. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. I'm sure Deanna does that as well. Let's take a look at WISA.
DJ saying this is his first time or his first time at the show. Welcome. Good to see you this morning.
Exactly. Welcome along. So WISA had benchmarks yesterday that are kind of minuscule in terms of their intraday benchmarks. They were down at around $2.95 and $3 yesterday. Buy side liquidity pools held up yesterday. Now they went for it. Let me take these session markers off a second. So it then went for a stormer. So I recut using the actual first big swing in pre-market as opposed to the prior days. And it's given me these levels now this morning. So the high of day yesterday up there around $8. Pulled back. I can draw in that buy side and see where we went into from the last pull. Did it get there? Didn't quite get to the buy side liquidity pool on that rest, but it did then run this morning almost exactly the same again, and we've topped out there at 11.47 so far. Liquidity switch on was crazy. I was just watching that switch on. It was from 11.50, which was the highs, all the way down to the last kind of sell side, which was $7. And it's difficult to sit through that, but it is a kind of nonsense. The price normally ends up where it kind of was here when it does that, but when you're in a trade at the time, that is not very nice to sit through. So let's ignore the switch on for a minute and see where our level is. So most recent one, it won't be the most recent one, but it's the pre-market push. It's going to be sitting there around $8. And now the sell side, this is a little bit difficult to draw now because it is nothing else ready to take apart from where we are. I'll take it down there. I'm not going to use the switch on. So 1080, the high of this sell side. So sell side sitting up there at kind of 1050, 1080. And the most recent buy side then, it's just pushing on up now. What's the time? 1:15. All right, so we have buy side sitting here around 950. So let's say one of those will probably break on the open. We have a level above here at 15 is benchmark 2 now on the using the levels from yesterday, and 1260 is the bogey level. So that's WISA. Deanna, should we have a look at the NASDAQ? What you got?
Yeah, I'm looking at the NASDAQ and the S&P. A little bit of a difference here in the S&P. We're seeing a strong movement higher this morning. So had this big sell-off on Monday. Price basically consolidated pretty much throughout the day, kind of a choppy session yesterday on the NASDAQ and the S&P. And now price is starting to move pretty strongly higher. So seeing a lot of strength moving into the open here. We are above the overnight session from Asia and London sessions this morning, with about 14 minutes to go to the New York open. The stock exchange open.
Okay.
So at the moment, it's looking pretty bullish, but we do have an area overhead where we could experience a bit of a reaction inside this hourly fair value gap.
Okay, I'll tell you what, that's a nice push there on the NQ. We'll save it for another day. We'll save it for another day on what just happened there. But there was a beautiful trade on long the NQ there that I was thinking about placing there. But very, very nice hit there off of the London session. So yeah, we've got the NQ pushing up there. I've got a next level up here, 82.5. In terms of anything else there, don't know if there's any alignment here, Deanna. I've literally just got this kind of, I don't know, 167 to 240 from the last drop. I don't know if we'll make it back that far. This was the actual kind of buy pull that was sitting there, and we was under that all this morning, and now we're just trying to push back into that. That's a key level, and a gap down here to the next one, which is actually around 17,600 for me. to see that gap there. So interesting to see if this push this morning will be one that holds and consistently moves back up to this 18,200 area, or whether it is just a pop and drop this morning. So time will tell. But yeah, been a very choppy morning on the market overall. Let's see what we've got. Anyone else in the chat? CXIA. Great, Scott. Good to see you. Let's have a look at CXAI. Now, this has been, I recognise this ticker from some days ago at least. So we've been there. We've benchmarked 2 out on whatever the previous levels were. That's one sell side up there.
Good morning, Boogie Woogie. Sorry to interrupt, Scott.
That's all right. Hey, Boogie. The next one is around about 550. Oh, actually, we've just tapped into it on the low part of that 535, whatever that is there. So I think we need to be careful. These are not backside pops to see if it's got anything else to go with. If I was going with the bigger swing, I don't know if it's even done that, Let's have a quick look around these highs. Okay, yeah, all right. So there is kind of 758s up here. All right, so potentially something, but I wouldn't let us put that off right now, unless, because this could be a very nice short opportunity. If I bring this down to what we're seeing on the 2 minute, 3 or 4 drives through this area now. Nice head and that's a I call that a ghost, but it's kind of when the head's below the shoulders kind of thing. It's a little ghost pattern there. Let's see if we've got anything. Ignoring the switch on, then we'll just bring this whole lot down, see where we're at. Yeah, so even now we're in a sell side pull there around 5s. So be careful of kind of 505 closing above, closing above, and we'll see what we get to. But if we close above 6, if we do close above that and we kind of get up to 6, then obviously there's a gap here now then to 750 or 8. So that's how I play CXI. In the first instance, I feel like I want to see this roll over for a short, but we'll see how it goes. What else we got in chat? Hi. No, I didn't hit Wise yesterday. I walked away and left that trade on ITCI. What else have we got here? Okay, so that's it for the chat tickers for the minute. Let me take a look at anything else we've got. Spec. Okay, Spec I shorted this morning, early doors. What's that, about 4 a.m. EST. My kind of textbook kind of play there, where it topped out of benchmark number 1, pulled back to the sell side. So that was a nice trade from 130 down to around $1 there. That looks done at the moment. So I'll bring that across, but we'll need to see it work out above 1 if there's going to be any more to the upside on this, which is sitting up at $2, $2.10 on Spec, but that's all gone quiet. It's not even really on the low float scanner anymore. GOEV popped again. This is another one from a few days or weeks back. This is why I call it that resting buy side liquidity pool, because it can take, look, how many days have we gone through? About 10 days there. And then finally this morning it was on the scanner again, popped up. So we're cutting its benchmarks now from these resting lows, and we have it right here where we are, about 311 to 320, and then benchmark 2's up there at 4. The sell side liquidity pool from the 1st of April down to the 8th of April sits pretty much where we are as well, up here around 320 to 350. So we're going to need, let's have a drop down. Oh dear, I do believe my clock over there has stopped. Okay, so still got quarter past. It's 23 minutes past. All right, so so we're going to be looking at a very similar thing here, bringing this over at the moment at 312. So let's see if we get any movement above 315 and a close above, could see more upside. Otherwise, that's a good area for to short a pop. Have you got any stocks on a watch today, Deanna?
I'm looking at ASML this morning. They reported earnings overnight. This is a chip equipment, I believe for NVIDIA. And looking at, let's see, let me get on the right chart here. ASML is reported early this morning, and they're slated to open, I think it's about 5% down or so this morning, right at the 50-day moving average. It's like, yeah, maybe even more than 5%. So this will be an interesting to watch on the open. Interesting to watch as the market opens.
Okay, got you. Anything else? Any Netflix? Any of those bigger caps? Well, it can't get bigger than $1,000 there.
Yeah, I'm still keeping an eye on the Nasdaq and the S&P to see what direction to take today. So I'm relying on a little bit more information here to see if we get any clarity on direction. I'd love to hear more about you said that there was a New York trade long this morning off the London Open. When you have time to talk about that, I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Okay, it's a little well, I tell you what, why don't we you can do this on the Q. It's less easy to do on the Qs because the pre-market's a bit sketchy, but if you go over to the Globex to have a look at the NQ, we can do it. Well, no, I've got 5 minutes. There's not a huge amount on. Let's I'll do IMVO in a sec for you. So like I've said before, the sessions kind of roll in, follow the sun, Asia through London and Europe and the Americas. So yeah, there's a lot of those, what I call the spread, which is just kind of a range. It could be a session, it could be a pre-market, it could be the lows, it could be at the highs. But that's ultimately what I like to use. So the London session one, if I take get this down, take the VWAPs and stuff off. So I have a little session marker on here. So all it really is, very, very simple one. If I can bring this across.
You're still on my chart, by the way.
Oh, so if you hit, don't worry. So if we've got, so the London session here, I've got up, it's shaded blue, a very light kind of blue. It's got its transparency on, but there is a line that comes across on my chart. Let's take this off a sec. I'm doing it in a minute. Okay, so there's a line that comes across my chart from the London high, and it's normally acknowledged once or twice between the London session, which I actually closed off at 12:30 because in terms of orders, it hands over. So I closed it off at 12:30 and then open up a spread in between then and New York. Okay, so I'm looking at this kind of area here as well. But this level here on the, you can put like an order 3 points above that high because it's going to kind of try and test it at some point. And then if it breaks above it after that test, which normally is like 3 to 5 points, then it carries on. It carries on for generally about 15 points after that. It can carry on for the rest of the day, but generally you'll find out that London session it'll look like a fake out, right? That London session can be faked out to the upside or downside. It doesn't matter which. But yeah, that's an order that you can kind of place on and just back test it yourself, see what you've got. But you just need to, just put a rectangle around the London session there. So I start it off at 8. That's my time. So it'll be what is that? 2 a.m. 2 a.m. EST. Yeah, and I bring it up to kind of 7 a.m. EST. It's about 5 hour session then. And if you look at, even if you look at Tokyo here, look, Tokyo is very similar. Tokyo is very similar on the Nasdaq. So you've got the Tokyo highs, doesn't go and visit it. You've got the Tokyo lows, they acknowledge it and then take you in, and then there comes the drop, which is a nice one if you catch it after that. You've got to size accordingly, right? So if you're, if whatever your account structure is, prop or cash, you have to size that accordingly, because the hope is that your stop's going to be not get hit the other side, but you can bring it into halfway generally, and you're probably still okay to give it enough space. But yeah, that's the session trade. And if you look back at the sessions, you'll see that some of the sessions hold for support and resistance in 2 days' time. Okay, so we are about to open in 15 seconds. So let's see how this hits. CX hours on the move by the looks of it. Let's have a quick look. Okay. NQ's down. Most of the tickers are up green now. That's odd. Most of the Mag 7 went all flush of green, and the Nasdaq went a flush of red.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
So Will is asking if I'm interested in going long or short ASML. I would be looking at if we get any sort of bounce from this move. So earnings were basically, they beat on earnings, but sales weren't as good. But we came right down to this 50-day moving average. So if NQ holds up, if the market in general holds up, I'll look to see if there's a bit of a bounce from this level here.
Gotcha. ADBL just popped.
And Q wants to do first, though, because it's looking pretty.
Just lost you there, Deanna.
Heavy at the moment.
Okay, EDBL has taken a pop. Let me just see whether it's just want to check it's gone into those lows, whether it moved. No, it's pretty much there or thereabouts. Let's get these off now. Okay, so that was a 680 short. Nice pop from there, $1 off that already. So that looks like it's fully rejected off there. There was a 9 up there, but it doesn't look like it wants it right now. Let's see what else we've got. So the resting pool still residing down there. Has that been halted? Yeah, it's been halted. So EDBL halted there off that $1 rejection in such a short space of time. So am I breaking up, Deanna? Or maybe I think we've lost Deanna there for a little bit. Okay, so EDBL halted there at 31.52. Oh, there you go. Hello. Let's have a quick look. That's all right. A CXAI, yep, that's up there into the sell side liquidity pool there. So watch out for that on the short side right now. Benchmark 2 still looming up there. There is 750 above, but if we get that rejection, we'll see. So it did punch above that sell side, but it's very, very close to the pre-market highs. Didn't get up to the $0.50 area, so I'll just be tracking that down. See if we can get a short entry on this. Hey Mahmood, welcome back. How are you? All good, I hope. Okay, so we've got another sell side up there if that can hit in. What else we got? Spare card. Yeah, I don't think there's anything unless that's called out on the scanners. Anything on there at the moment? INVO. All right, so INVO pushing the bogey level there at 250. 280 to 3 are the other benchmarks. Oh goodness, I can close this. Been on there for days. So 250 here on INVO. Just feel like that's dropped off the table. Oh, it's halted. That is also halted. So INVO halted at 34 minutes past an 02. So the up halts. Let's have a look at EDBL. Is that about to start? EDBL 31. Close. So the up halts are generally more favorable, right? Because the buyers don't mind staying in necessarily on a long halt, even though it's quite uncomfortable. But buyers do not like staying in on a short halt to the downside. So this, when you get a short halt, is generally you could definitely almost see that drop on the open of the next bar. Whereas the buy halt is probably less scary to the buyers, but obviously anyone that's shorted into that nice and early would be feeling the pain on a halt up right now. So NQ coming off. Let's have a look, see what we've got on the, these were very quiet pre-market. Okay. So Tesla coming off with the Qs. NVDA up then down. Let's so I'm going to give them a few minutes, see if we can't cut some levels in a minute off this. AMD nice and short at the minute. Google pushing up and Apple pushing up. Let's see where the best execution price might be on Apple now then, because that looks to put in a definitive swing. So let's watch out for 170.80 up there. Close above that could see more upside for Apple this morning. Quick look back at EDBL. Got one for you from Sar there.
Lufkin, that's hilarious. Your amygdala has a headache. Oh, okay. I saw your comment this morning. Thank you so much for commenting, and I will respond. Lufkin says my amygdala has a headache. That's the part of your brain that has the fear response. So that's funny. Which time frame you usually check for fair value gap? I typically am looking at the hourly for a fair value gap. I do look at the daily and the 4-hour as well. Right now on the NASDAQ, we have a bearish fair value gap on ESNQ that just recently formed as of yesterday. The S&P had a bearish fair value gaps a while ago, so has been in a bearish movement for a while. But NQ is acting a little bit different, just slightly different. So we have a large bearish fair value gap on NQ overhead, which price just tapped into this hourly fair value gap here. So large hourly fair value gap plus a bullish fair value gap that was inverted when price closed below. So at this point, there is an hourly fair value gap short. That was, I haven't updated this yet, but we did tap into that. Looking for, and there was a sweep of the Asian range highs, looking for a really strong break though. And so far there has not really been a great break. There was a break of structure here, but it was pretty tiny, probably related to the volatility from the open. So I would consider a short, at this point here for a small position perhaps, but you know, I generally would like to see a little bit better reaction.
Okay, so what do we have there? EDBL I was looking at, wasn't I? Let's have a quick switch back.
You're welcome, Shah.
So EDBL did gap down, but it just kind of touches 200 EMA, very, very close to this buy side pull that's already worked once. Actually, there's probably a new one here. Invo's just opened up on the resume. Yeah, so that's that gap down to the buy side liquidity pool here, and we'll see what happens now for EDBL. INVO gapped up after the halt, so very close to benchmark 2 now, around just above that level on oh, there we go, benchmark 2. Let's see what we've got coming up now. Was this a reverse split? No. Okay. There is a reverse split that was announced yesterday. It didn't do much that I've got my eye on today, but I've yet to hear it on the scanners. So there's benchmark 2 being acknowledged at the moment at 288 or thereabouts. So we'll see how far this candle gets down, but I'm just going to track it down to get that first sell side in to see if it can break above it or not. If it does, then we just sit on hands here. But EDBL on the tape again, so that seems to be pushing as well. There's INVO. So 270, 277 if it literally tags it. If not, and it wants to push higher, then nothing to do. We just let it go because it can literally do the same amount of value again. Should have minutes about another $1.50 above. But let's see what it can do here. Okay, I've just added some there on that rejection of the sell side liquidity pool, and stop will be above there at just above 3. All right, let's see how that goes. So that's short INVO. EDBL pushing up. Look, so that's quite aggressive after a halt down, I've got to admit. That really is quite aggressive. So let's just see if there's a liquidity pool up there to hold. So this one will be between 647 and 680 on EDBL. Let's see what we've got there. There is room above this at 9, so that could have been like literally a rejection halt. But there's certainly no shorts following that through immediately. So let's continue to have that on watch. Right, what else we got working out now?
I'm looking at Tesla for a potential short. We had a strong break with fair value gap, looking at a retracement. If we can get a bit of a move back into the level, I would be looking to short Tesla somewhere between this level here, the 50% retracement and 70%. There's no fair value gap within that level, so maybe a little move lower, but the NASDAQ is starting to move down pretty nicely as well.
Okie dokie. So GOEV, Mihal's in there, short of 335 there. So yeah, smack in the middle of a liquidity pool for me. I'll zoom out on this one because GOV's been playing out for ages. So benchmark has been broken. short pull finishes up there around 350. So if we do break the 350, where's the bogey level? Smack in the middle between these two. So it's going to be similar plays, 360s. So watch out for that one. But ultimately, we've got to break out of this pull if you're going any higher, and to close below it if we're going to come back down to 250. So INVO is still hanging around that 260 area at the moment. What's this on the tape? CIS. Is that going to be C? Okay, CISS is running. Let's have a quick look. Just grab this quickly, see what's going on. $230 to 60. Let's see if we can't get through that first. Sell side benchmark. INVO on the tape as well, so be careful for that if you are short INVO. Uh, 360 to 350. Okay, so close to that benchmark there with a rejection. So that's an odd one. It's a very sideways move from that pop up yesterday. Pop and drop perhaps, we'll see on that one. So INVO took a little punch of liquidity there, and then it went super quiet. Okay, still talking about our roughly our entry level here. Let's have a look, see what we've got on our first target here. Okay, so another test of that sell side liquidity pool. Like I said, stop above 3 on this for me. Stop above 3. Why is that? Got in at 9 and out at 9.50. Nice job on Wiser. Let's have a quick look at that. Wow, that was super short and sweet. Yeah, that's a good job on the in and out there. So EDBL, whoa, EDBL pushing on volume through that 680 level or 675 level. So that's negated. It can close below, close in and still work. But in terms of liquidity, it's looking to the next one up. See what we've got on these bigger cap stocks. So Tesla, do you say short on Tesla or long? Deanna, was you thinking short or long on Tesla?
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit extended. It's a little bit extended, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
If we get a little bit of a pullback, but it is extended, so if the NASDAQ continues to move down, it might work, but like I said, it is a little bit extended, so I would want to see a pullback.
Okie dokie. Okay, so ADBL, so yeah, momentum coming in off 675 on the break there of that sell side into the next one. I'm guessing that's a short given on the a halt given that. Not yet. Yes, it is. Yeah, another halt for 47 minutes past the hour and 45 seconds. So 5 minutes onto that should see a resume. Let's see if it wants. If it breaks up and yeah, gaps up above this 77.75 area, then we'll be looking to see 9. Bearing in mind the mid level there is 830. INVO still cruising on up, just toying with that. Stop up here at just over 3 for me. Be nice to see a flush here. This is a buy side. Where's the VWAP on this one? I've lost my VWAP.
Lufkin, are you talking
about on the tape? Sorry.
Regular trading hours closed 50% of the gap and have been bouncing from there. We're talking about on the NASDAQ. Getting a nice move down in Tesla and the NASDAQ. Haven't had enough of a retracement. I would honestly want to see price move a little bit lower, so that this fair value gap entry area would be most enticing for me. But the NASDAQ is moving now, so might not get a pullback opportunity. So also, Lufkin, that's a good point. Lufkin said on the regular trading hours, we closed 50% of the gap and have been bouncing from there. Also, we interacted with an hourly fair value gap. So there are actually 2 hourly fair value gaps. This large fair value gap from Monday, when we had that massive move lower, large fair value gap here. Plus, this is a fair value gap from a long time ago. I believe it was FOMC. Yeah, FOMC. This was a bullish fair value gap. There were 2 bullish fair value gaps. This higher fair value gap was inverted, so it's now acting as a bullish fair value gap. This one's been invalidated, so no longer current. And this bearish fair value gap has been invalidated. But price came up, interacted with both of these, and respected that level. So far has moved lower. So it seems to be reacting nicely from that fair value gap level.
I'm just waiting for these two to for Edbl to open up. It's still halted. A minute or so to go for that one. IMVO, yeah, just toying about here.
I shorted the NASDAQ and I'm just now moving my stop aggressively lower. Not too aggressively, but I am going to start trailing my stop. Sorry to interrupt, Scott.
That's all right, no worries.
It's hard to time it right.
So for those regulars that are out there, we have a session that we normally do where you pick the trade and we take the trade. And we're going to change it up a little bit after I manage IMVO. Bear with me 1 second because I do feel like I've just got a flush off that. Yep, okay. Let's flush down to the VWAP there. And let's see if we can't get that. That was a nice drop. Let's see if we've got a little bit more on that. Let's move this target down. EDBL's just opened as well. EDBL hitting that mid level. Let's see if we can get to 9s. Let's see if we can get to 9s. IVO. Halted again. No, Yep, halted again at 8:58. See, one more pop could see us get there to 9s, but that's going to take 5 minutes before we resume on that again. INVO vwap sitting on 220 with that buy side. That's my target on this one. A little bit above, I'll go 225.
Al Kendrick is asking about if Trade the Pool allows you to buy real stocks or CFDs. It is real stocks, so that's great for Americans because CFDs are a bit problematic. So Trade the Pool is a great fit for Americans as well as people that are living outside the US. So you are trading real stocks. And also, Scott, hopefully everyone got the email yesterday talking about Trade the Pool's new credit card. So it's kind of works like a debit card. So in addition to taking out your payouts as usual, you can also have the funds transferred to a debit card. So an even more convenient way to get your withdrawal when you are ready.
Absolutely, yeah, very, very convenient way to get your withdrawal. You can, go to the cash point, take it out in cash, or just spend it at the petrol station, whatever you got to do. You can choose to withdraw straight to your card. Okay, so just seeing if we get this pop down here to 220. Stop about 3 ticks away from me now. If we can push down one more push, that'd be good. Alendric, when you enter the TTP pub, you can see the 260 plan available for purchase. Yeah, I think it's still there. I don't think it's on the main website right now. I think it's still there. Will's on his second day of the evaluation on the mini account. $1,200 to get to target. Good luck, Will.
Nice.
Be careful of them penny stocks on the Sorter account there. You don't have to be careful of the penny stocks, just size accordingly.
Kendrick, the plans that you can get, there are different choices on how much, what plan you'd like to get. So if you go on the Trade the Pool website, you can see if you scroll down to the bottom, under the program, there's a tab on the Trade the Pool website, and scroll down to the bottom, all the way down. There's a option here, try any evaluation, and there's the mini buying power, super buying power, and extra buying power. Each of them come with different amounts of buying power and different fees, different profit targets, different max loss. Can you get funded 260 on the website? It says 160.
I'm just letting these stair steppers, take control of the trade at the moment, hoping they'll just put a little bit of pressure and push another red bar out of this so we can get us down to the 220s. Another 10 cents on it would be nice.
So Mal, oh my gosh, I can't talk. There's a question about where I entered the NASDAQ. So this was my original trade up here, outlined here, and then I had a limit order set here, never got filled, and I have another limit order set here now. So I basically just moved it down. I just have the one contract on. Instead of taking a profit at the 1 to 2, I'm just trailing my stop. So this is a little bit tight for a trailing stop, but that locks in a 1 to 2. And I'll just keep moving the Fibonacci as price goes down, and that might change my entry a little bit. So now I could I would be okay to move my limit order to here on the NASDAQ. I also have a small starter position, super small starter position on Tesla. Just waiting to see if we can get a bit more of a pullback here. Trying to keep up with the comments. Okay, a lot of folks working on the evaluation phase. Great job. That's exciting. Keep us posted. Let us know in the chat or leave comments on this video, keeping us updated so we know we can follow along with you. Lufkin says the gap on the regular trading hours have officially been filled. Yeah, the NASDAQ is heavy. Things are moving down nicely. And somebody is shouting out Tesla. Nice call on Tesla. And I have to say, someone else brought it up this morning. I can't remember who it was for sure, but thank you to whoever brought it up this morning. See if we can give you a little bit of a shout out for the good call on Tesla this morning. My favorite comment of the day is my amygdala has a headache. That's funny.
I'm sure I might have one of them every day, but I don't know it.
Okay, I swear somebody mentioned Tesla this morning. I don't know if I'm just remembering.
I know you mentioned Tesla
If it was you, let us know in the chat. Here it is, Mento, aka menthol. There it is.
There we go.
On Tesla. What's that?
There, I was just saying. There we go. You found
saying
it.
That he put an order on. Okay, gotcha. Me too. Booking. Yes. Nice. Good job, Will. The market is moving, so a lot going on so far this morning. Looked like it was going to be a, kind of a boring overnight session, and then now things have picked up a bit. Still no pullback on Tesla, though, so really haven't been able to get into much here. Just waiting patiently, and maybe we'll get a pullback.
I got ticked out of my my Tesla, my INVO trade, my INVO trade here. So I just got my stock up there to about 27 or 28 was it? I think I got out at. The 28, yeah. So just on that spike down, it was covered. I just moved it up below this. I had the moving averages there as well. So happy for it to come down into this area now to see how it all holds, because this is the area that I think they'll try to find some longs, but we'll see. I think there'll certainly be, a kind of red to green move there. As to whether or not it pays for them, I don't know. But that's a nice benchmark to play up there. Unlike Edbl, which seems to still be pushing, I think, is it? Yes, above benchmark 2 there. All we need to make sure is as to whether it's going to do it all again or not is just bear in mind that this can, if this just comes back down now, it would just look like a spike on a higher time frame. So we'll just be careful of that. But right now it's halted again at 994. So we'll see if that's gonna hit again, or if we get a drop to the downside off this level. Will's got Sage was
saying that said yes, I'm doing. I think I have a little bit of a lag this morning. I'm sorry, Scott. Shaw is saying, yes, I'm doing evaluation. It's a little different with prop firm. And that's absolutely right. It is a little bit different, takes a little bit getting used to, but I think you'll really like it. As someone who traded my own money for a long time, this is a much, much better way to do it for me personally. And I think a lot of people find that as well.
Okay, there's that drop on INVO into that buy side pull now at 217. So this is where I think you've got the VWAP, you've got the moving averages. If we see this candle stay red and then followed by a green one, I think we'll see a little bit of upside on this. So let's see where the next target would be for that. If the buyers come in, I think that's going to be up there around 260, 275. So IMVO took over. I was just about to mention the kind of segment that we play normally. You choose, we trade. We're going to change that up a little bit. Well, today and going into next week, we are going to be interested in what you trade this time. So you can still choose the trade, except it's going to be something that you literally think you want to trade. It's a setup you're looking at. Can be long, can be short, can be small cap, can be NQ, wherever you want it to be. But something that you're seriously considering taking a position on. And we will take that trade with you. If you're getting into that trade, we'll take that trade with you, and we'll see who manages it. We was thinking, because I almost done it yesterday with Trader Life, where I took that trade at the kind of close. So that was my thought process behind it, because twice on the bounce, I've had risks that stopped me letting that trade go up and adding. Whereas if you look at that 2 hours later, the trade has paid out to what would have been a profit if you'd have just left it on. So it's just looking at how the different people manage the different trades, but we're still going to let you choose it. It's just going to be one that you would trade, and we'll all get on that. So we'll do that. So put those in the chat if you think you've got something lining up, you've got something reversing that you like, or just let us know. Or if you think you're adding to something that you're already in, give us a shout and we'll pick one, and we'll go on that as well.
All right. Mama, thank you for sharing on Discord. And also, Scott is asking about a reversal point on the Qs. Thinking 429.36 or 429.72. Do you see it flushing further? I'll be perfectly honest. I see the market is completely uncertain, and I'm just looking for probabilistic entries. So for me, I was able to find a probabilistic entry this morning. And as far as where it will go, I have no idea. I do have this area outlined as sort of a demand area. And as we get deeper into that level, I like to just measure with the Fibonacci tool. This is not like magic Fibonacci numbers or anything, but just looking to see where, you know, maybe somewhere in this area I might be looking for a reversal, but I really don't know. And so at this point, my job is to just kind of protect my trade as best as I can. And so I will continue to move the stop lower. I haven't adjusted it on here, but I will continue to move the stop lower to lock in the gains, knowing that it can always come back really fast. The further down it goes, you know, it can kind of have that rubber band effect where it snaps right back. And so at this point, I'm just protecting the gain and doing the best I can to manage it from there. There's a couple numbers called out. 850 is the 62% on the fibs, and 429. So that's way down there. I think that's kind of looking at the hourly. There is a lot of potential room for the downside, in particular if we, you know, who knows what price will do. But if price gets past this area here, there's a lot of liquidity resting below here. So if price hits below this area, we might see a, you know, kind of a quick move lower. So that's a possibility. Hard to say. I'm glad to hear Shaw said better risk management, learning a lot. That's great. It does take a little while to get used to trading the prop firm because it is different, but it is excellent that there are rules and parameters that you have to respect. It makes your behavior sort of line up in a better way. So the things that you do as a trader will be dictated by the parameters, the rules and regulations. And although none of us like rules, that can actually be really helpful.
Mihai, you're saying you got GOEV and they've got a lot of inventory yesterday and they're just trying to sell it at a higher price. That way you are looking for a sell, a sell-off at 250 to 260. Do you mean you're looking for a sell from here down to 250? Like, what would be the entry if that's your target, is what I'm trying to understand there. Yeah, boogie woogie, that's right. It is, on average, yeah, if you go back and look at some of those interviews on Trade the Pools of people that have passed, the average is it's 3 goes, right? It's 3 attempts. So, and yeah, if that's if you're just pricing that in 3 goes, then yeah, that's that, along with a little bit of help, little bit of education, and yeah, that's a cost of doing business there. I think that's a good way to approach it.
I think that's an excellent way to approach it. And, prior to prop firms, it was just your own capital. You could easily lose thousands, especially if you hadn't learned risk management yet. You could for sure lose thousands. And luckily for us with prop firms, that's okay if it's more than 3 goes. That's all right. Sometimes that's the average. Some people come with a lot of experience and they won't take as many tries, and some people come with less experience. That's okay. You just do whatever is right for you. You'll get there.
Yeah, you can always stick to the sim, right? If you've had 3 goes and there's something that you're not kind of improving on, if you're journaling and having a look at what you're doing wrong, could be the time of day. I know, like literally from 3:30 till after lunch, if I try and trade during that period, then I generally get hurt through it, because after lunch you can get those pops, especially on the small cap. But yeah, there might be something you're doing consistently wrong. So if you just note your trades down or get some journaling software just to track those trades and upload them, then that could point out what you're doing wrong. Yeah, but don't be afraid to go back to sim. Just jump back on and then get another program straight after that once you've got a bit of confidence back. Tiny also on the way past.
Average is just average. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
average is just average. That doesn't mean that will be for you. I mean, you're doing the process that you need to do to get better as a trader, and everybody's journey is different. Where they start is different, and so that's helpful to know that it's 3 on average if that's the number. But don't use that as the metric to judge yourself, like compare yourself, because everybody's different and it might just be different. But like Scott said, it is helpful to look at where are your strengths, what are you doing really well, and where are the areas that you need to improve. And especially when it comes to trading psychology, that is an evolution. So that you never check that box. You'll always have to work on that. Even if you get your method and your management, risk management, money management under control, you'll always have to cycle back and work on trading psychology. So that's okay. Great. We have a first timer too. That's awesome. Well, good luck to you. You're going to do great. You will for sure learn a lot. I know that for certain.
Okay, so anyone got any trades on? I've got Mihaw's there, so we're gonna have a look at GOEV. We may be joining in with him short on that. What have we got? Any other contenders coming in before we get onto this? Pop it in the chat and we'll take a look. EDBL has just been halted up and halted down on this. So I've got kind of 2 levels on the cues here. I'm just looking at one right here. So a couple stacked around here. Big volume push down into this area as well. So let's see what we get around this this 429 area anyway, going through down to 424, midpoint 427 for me on the cues. Quickly back to EDBL though. I've got it. I don't know why I keep typing in the symbols when I've got them on my watch list over here. Yeah, okay, so I have my next level at 1364 on this, not a benchmark, just another level based off of this high here. So if we are going on to reverse here, this is what I was talking about before. The longs are happy to stay in the 3 halts that we had, because on every time it opened, it gapped up and went higher. Longs do not like to stay in shorts when they see a gap down, especially the first one of the day. So we'll see how this plays out. But that last run up is going to have its target down here at kind of $8, 780s. So if it does want to do anything else today, that's where the liquidity would be. So, you know, whether this is kind of a program trade or just the retails get scared out of it here, that would be enough to kind of push it back down here and let it drop. There'll be almost a void when this opens of longs trying to sell their stock, and that can all those buyers that are in here trying to sell because this is now gap down, know that can literally drop from 11 to kind of 8 in a matter of minutes. We'll see how that works out. So any other takers on the trade that we've got here? Otherwise we are going to go. Is this our official chat, or do we have another? We have a Discord. We do have a Discord. Tim's over there running the Discord. If we can get that in the chat. Trader Life's got PLCE short.
I think Will might be talking about, because sometimes we can see comments that maybe aren't visible on this channel, and we can ask Gil about that, if maybe it's possible to have the comments from both locations show up. I'm not sure if that is a possibility or not.
Okay, PLCE is on the cards. I tell you what, should we do this now? Let's do this now. Where'd that go? Okay, Deanna, what do you think? I think there's two in the chat. There is GOEV and there is PLCE, both shorts. Trader Life want to know where you are thinking of short. Are you thinking of hitting the button now or anything like that? GOEV, you're already in the trade, Michal, right? So I think there's a case of getting in as soon as we can. And does that go the same for you, Trader Life?
All right, so PLCE and GOVE. That's what we're looking at.
That's it. They're the two. So you can. I'll let you. You can take first pick.
I like where GOVE is better, right at the 50-day moving average. So we've had a pop up and moving lower now. So looking at the daily time frame, you can see price wicked above this and has rejected from there. It looks fairly strong on PLCE. Plus we had earnings today, I believe this morning. So let's go for GOEV.
Okay, so you're going to go GOEV. So I will take the other one. I'll take PLCE. So
oh my gosh, $3. Wow. All right. Do I get to wait for a pullback?
Well,
or is that cheating?
Is it. Normally we just jump in, but I mean, if this is about trade management, you have to get in at some point. So if you want to give it a few minutes to see if you get a pullback, you can do, but that might mean you're hitting the market a little bit later. PLC.
I don't hate where it is right now. I mean, okay, I'll start a little position on GOEV.
All right, so let's jump back and see what I've got. So yeah, okay, it looks pretty good. Got a nice big wick on that candle there on GOEV. Let's see what we've got on my one, which is going to be PLCE. Okay, not bad as well. Let's see if I've got anything lining up here. Let's see what we got from these lows. There we go. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's so Trade Life, I'm guessing you are early on this from higher up. If you've been adding, if this is one you've kind of been adding to this morning, I'm feeling like you're sell side. I'm guessing that your first target might be somewhere around here if you've been doing that this morning. Let us know, because that would, I think we're under VWAP. We're at those moving averages. We did just have a color change there that's been stops taken out of it right at this point anyway. So for me, it's my buy side liquidity. So for the middle of this would have been my first target if I was in up here. Did we get the first side? So 1084. Okay, nice. Because I think, let's see if I would have caught that. Yep, that would have. So that's pretty much where I would have been if I'm being patient. That would have been, so the double kind of top poke above that benchmark 2. First pull back to the sell side, targeting the buy side, so kind of 950. So what I'm going to do to manage this then is let these take. So my entry is 1005, and we'll just see how this plays out at 1060. And so this is my issue now, because I've got in late. Unless I put in like 10,000 shares, I want out here now because that's my target. But let's see what it does here. We're kind of 50 cents up right here. Yeah, so Traded Life is already 75% out now, which I think is a good call given the level we're at. So unless we get a huge flush down to 897, you might see me working through a pullback. Let's see what we've got right now. Yeah, nice one. Hey Patrick, I've just seen you come in from Tradecaster over there. Sorry, mate, I didn't see your chat there. You're enjoying the stream. How often do you live stream? What amount of capital are you trading with? I'm on the extra, which I think is 160k. So look here.
And Patrick, we live stream Monday through Wednesday from 9 to 11. So we're here 3 days a week. You can come hang out with us.
Yeah, I'm on the extra, Patrick. So that's $160,000 worth of buying power. Doesn't mean you should use that all in one go necessarily, of course, but it's there for the taking. And that'll be a max loss on that of $3,900. So 100, and your profit target is 7,800. All out. Thank you, Trader Life. I think that's a very good shout. So right in the middle there, 950s for that initial target. And all out as well there. all out as well on PLCE. Let's quick look back at GOEV. Nice trade, Trader Life. You're banging every single day, huh? Every single day. Well done. Well done. Sorry, Deanna. GOEV.
Not much going on here. It's just right around my entry. If I were to actually want to enter this, I would be looking in the 331 to 338 level, and not much has happened. It's just kind of meandering around. I did take a small entry to start out, but it's kind of a sleepy one.
Yeah, it's they're the ones you got to watch out for going into that kind of that 10:30 kind of time of the day. But it still looks good. I think it might have a little push up.
For me, I'm still.
Sorry, there is a lag. We do have a lag. Sorry
about that. I'm still adjusting the Fibonacci for the Nasdaq trade and also the Tesla trade. We are getting a little bit late in the morning, so coming into the lunch hour, you know, I like to sort of start slowing down for a bit until the afternoon session, but I'm still adjusting the Fibonacci lower as price continues to move. Mihai's asking why we're not streaming all week. Maybe we'll get there at some point. And Michael will be back to trade with us at some point. He'll be back. He's not gone anywhere.
I've got the NQ coming into a similar level where I had it yesterday. It's double bottomed into there, like two pushes down right deep into that area, which is what I like to see. We similar thing here yesterday, push down. I'd like to see a bit more of a pullback. Sometimes you don't get it with a push like this. It will just go because it's like, I generally like to see one that, you know, let's put it on. I like to see one that is kind of double bottomed around, but then it's not really a double bottom, but it comes into this kind of this buy side block. The trouble is when you have two pushes into the block that are lower, so it's kind of, you expected a double bottom but you didn't get it, it went lower. Can't grab this. Oh, you just got an update there on GOEV. Yeah, so I think Mia's doesn't want it to go against him on the 15-minute candle if that closes green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just hasn't. Yeah, you know, I got in pretty much right when we started talking about it, and it just really hasn't moved much from where I entered. So I'll sit tight for a little bit longer and see what happens.
Okay. So yeah, so when you push down into the level, there's a kind of a double bottom. See this push down. Let's see if I can get this. This push down, and then both of these at the bottom are kind of buy side pulls. So very, very close to this buy side pull here, and then the next one that comes up is a buy side pull touch there, which is my indication that as soon as that first one works, you can be followed by, you know, a number of them that kind of then start to form the next trend for the day. So again, aggressive push down. At the bottoms, you get a V bottom or a double bottom, but I like to look for that first kind of pullback in there. Sometimes if you have see this like three pushes down, it's not always the same kind of play. You can get, this is what can cause more of a V bottom than a kind of double bottom and then a pullback that fails. So we'll see if we get it. Again, if this level below at 17, so if we fail this buy side, which is kind of like the micro one, this one is the whole move up from this morning. from this kind of low up to this high. So that's what's caused this one. Anything below there, like we said, we just keep landing in this spot and hitting these pulls. At some point, you would imagine one's going to fail, and then we've got the big gap. But it doesn't have to happen. We can go back up into the channel and go sideways for the next 3 months. but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. So same goes for the Qs. I don't know if the Qs, different number, but ultimately, similar
Ahmed
thing
is
here.
saying that. Sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
Just to say, similar thing on the Qs.
I need to be watching you so I can see when you're about to talk. You go ahead, and then I'll address the comments. I'm so sorry. I'm watching the chart, not watching your face, so I can't see when you're talking.
So, same thing on the Qs. A push lower into that zone. It was a little bit more defined on this one. There is a bigger one as well, but same sort of thing. So just waiting to see if they can both hold their buy side liquidities now, because if these fail, the first buy side on here 430. So that's what I'm looking at. If they close below those buy sides, which is just under 429.5 on the Qs, then I think more downside, but at the minute they're both doing, they're acknowledging the area. I thought. Over to you, Deanna.
Thank you. Mohammed is saying that the NASDAQ and S&P are both operating inside a daily fair value gap. And to be honest, I'm not seeing that on the NASDAQ. So maybe you can point out what you're looking at on the daily. So on the NASDAQ, there was a daily fair value gap, a bullish fair value gap at this point here. That was invalidated for me. Once price closes inside the fair value gap and below the midline, that is no longer a valid fair value gap. As far as this fair value gap here, same thing. Price closed inside the fair value gap and below, so that invalidated this fair value gap. So this is the imbalance that I'm paying attention to here, is the bearish fair value gap or imbalance on the daily time frame. Same thing on the S&P. And also there was a bullish fair value gap on the S&P. However, like on the NASDAQ, price closed inside and below the midline. So this is no longer valid for me. This is the only fair value gap that's valid. So let me know if you're seeing something else. It's possible that we're missing something. So let me know what you're looking at here. As far as the lower time frames go, on the 4-hour, price is also inside a former fair value gap, but this imbalance was invalidated again once price closed inside and below the midline. I no longer consider that valid. So we have this large imbalance overhead on both the S&P and the NASDAQ on the left and S&P on the right. The S&P did have, or does have, I should say, a bullish imbalance here. It's pretty small. There was, this is not on the 4-hour though. This is the hourly, I believe. Here it is. On the hourly, if price closes this 10 o'clock candle below it, then that inverts this imbalance, and it will, I would expect it to act like a bearish resistance. So need to see how this candle closes. But most recently, the imbalances overhead is what price interacted with. And that's, for me, why I decided to look bearish. All right, Mohammed, what are we missing here? And you're welcome, Patrick. I'm glad to hear you're going to give trading a go, and best of luck. Keep us posted. Let us know in the comments or the chat. We'd love to follow along and know how you're doing. So keep us updated. Back to GOV, we're starting. I'm actually, we have a big drop down So I'm going to go ahead and get out here at 301. If we continue to push lower, could maybe move it a little bit lower to take out that liquidity just below the, let's do that. I will move the take profit just below that liquidity level at 298, since we're starting to move a little quickly now, and I will move the stop, a trailing stop, to 311. So be getting out for a small little profit, hopefully, unless something changes here in the next couple minutes. At least it will either be a small gain with a trailing stop, or perhaps it'll hit the profit target. It finally woke up.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Thank goodness for that. Let's just have a quick look back to that EDBL. So there was that gap we were speaking about when it halted up. This was the shorts kind of getting out of that. So that pushed it all the way down. Didn't quite get to the buy side liquidity though, but it did push it all the way from kind of 1075 to 860 down there. So I'm wondering if we got these the 20 moving average players on the color change come in here, but let's now then watch to see whether or not we have any more money on the tape for this. I'm just listening out for it now, because this would be a very kind of wide 70-cent sell side liquidity pool up there. Yeah, I have money on the tape for EDBL. It's also winning the low float winners race. We're going to take a look at some IPOs in a second as well. We'll take a look at a couple. As how we play the topic today is, how we'd actually trade them. We've had a look at, the background, how you find the better ones. And we'll have a look in a second at how to play them just for 10 minutes or so. But EDBL on the run at the moment. So just looking to see if it will push here into 11. Hi, Marina. How are you doing? Welcome to the chat.
Thanks for joining us, Marina. How are you doing today? Looking for a tiny push further to take out that liquidity at, what did we say, 298. With the trailing stop at 311. It's just kind of bebopping around now.
Just keeping a quick eye on this EDBL before we go into the IPOs. It's just tucking into this sell side liquidity there. Like I said, a break of, as usual, a break of this 77. Obviously, you've got a double top to contend with, but if that money flow comes in hard again, it could be going up to this $13.60, $13.40 to $14 area. Did that just get halted? That's been halted again. Okay, so it's halting all over the place, EDBL. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to put an alert just below this candle and just above this box to see what we've got on, just so I don't miss anything. And then we're going to turn all the scanners down and go from there. Okay.
And I'm out on GOEV now. Hit the profit target and I closed it for a small gain.
Well done. Nice one. Good start to that segment of the show. I like that one.
Got lucky on the first go at it.
That's well done. Well done. Thank you for volunteering first. Trader Life and Mihal, thank you very much for getting involved on that one. Sorry, Diana, over to you.
Still waiting for a pullback on Tesla. Doesn't look like it'll happen this morning, but just keep an eye on it. If NASDAQ keeps moving lower, then maybe it'll be possible to get in on that. S&P is has the potential in the next couple hours to maybe create a fair value gap, or maybe it'll find support here and push higher. So just keep an eye on things.
Okay, let's move into the topic of the week, which is IPOs. Then, so this is totally like off the cuff, as we would say. It's I've not got anything prepped for this, so we're just going to see what we've got, what's just been, what have been released in the past week or so. We might have a look at Reddit as well and just see if there's any kind of nuances on the different ways that we might play these. Looking at day one, is there anything you can do to get in these plays with any kind of edge on day one, or should we leave it a few days and then just take that data that has been printed on the previous couple of days and then try and work from there? So PLCE is what we was just on. So that is one. CXAI also there on the top gainers today, but we're interested in coming over to the left and losing the top gainers and coming into recent IPOs. So we're just going to take a look at these and see. Let me see if we've got that chart behind. Just see what we've got. So most recent was, is that yesterday or today? Yesterday. The 16th was TWG. So that released yesterday. Headquartered in Hong Kong, a top wealth group. So we are in luxury goods. Caviar. So they're in caviar, endangered wild species of caviar and flora, main suppliers of caviar in Hong Kong. So consumer discretionary, obviously. So when things get tough in the economy, and then that's kind of something that a lot of people will drop, and only the kind of top 5% will keep having their caviar. So let's see what we've got on that one. If we went over to Finviz, that would be, it's called something else on Finviz, consumer cyclical restaurants. So they'd be supplying restaurants, right? Unless it's kind of a delivery kind of thing, which I doubt. So we assume there would be supplying restaurants. So at the moment, in terms of one day, they are pretty green. You got kind of three green and 3 red there. You hover over them and it will tell you what stock it is at the top there. And then if we look at the 1 week performance, we all know that's gone a bit red. Restaurants is still a little bit grey as opposed to heavy red that you see all over the board. And the monthly, a bit of a mixed bag as well. So it's not great. It's not all great, but it's not terrible. So let's move that across and then come and have a look at TWG on the chart. So TWG on the charts, top wealth group. So what do we have here? Let's get these off. Okay, let's come over to yesterday, which should be day one. So there's a little turtle. Okay, so day one, this didn't even bother with the up that I said you can get. This one, I guess, like I said, it's what you think of the company. When you first initially read, what does that company do? Is it pushing your buttons to say, that's something that I think, has got legs to run to the upside? And, who's going to be investing into this? And if you think the answer is yes for yourself, and it's yes, as in you think a lot of other people want to get involved, then perhaps you could be looking long side. But I think this is probably what I thought about it. I don't know what about you, but luxury caviar, they're targeting like a very, very small percentage of the market as a whole. And then how can you trade it? So for me, not looking left and looking, I would obviously be using the tool that I've got in terms of trying to predict this. The first thing I'm going to do is take the range. The first range, so the first impulse, the first push that you see, if you zoom in, is going to be the first push. And that first push that's being holding, I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to see if I can break out of this area here, right? So this zone, as always, not looking interested in really. That zone is at 410. If I can break out of 410, I'm looking to get involved in this gap there, down to $8 from 410. Now, whether that happens or not, we don't know. In the future days, we'll see. But that's kind of the area I'd be looking for. Let's get rid of that, actually. And we'll just also put on a couple of levels throughout here. So there's different levels that may or may not be acknowledged depending on the activity we get. But ultimately...
Scott, I think you're still on my chart. It's okay.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you, Danny.
All right, so we missed that whole lot. Did you not see that I was not? You're not tuned into my IPO business, are you? You're trading futures over there. I know what you're up to. You're not concentrating on my IPOs. All right, so what I was saying was, I'm going to take the first impulse swing. For me, that is literally the moment it opens. I'm looking at anything that can show me the first impulse swing. Now, from there, I'm taking that first initial level and seeing what I can have here. So I have two levels here, but 329 and 241, and looking to see whether or not this can get down to 50 cents. So ultimately, if this was any other stock, I would be expecting it to complete a benchmark cycle, which would mean breaking out of a manipulation area or an area of accumulation. And if it does, then I'm expecting to target 1, target 2, and target 3. And these kind of decrease in probabilities. This has about an 80 to 90% chance if you break out of this area of hitting it. This goes down to about 70 and this comes down to about 65. But obviously depending on what products you have. So you can see there, my first trade on this would have been from 443 down to 330. So that would have been a nice trade on the first day of the open. It then hits target 2. It doesn't go all the way down, surely. So no, it hasn't quite got down there to date yet. So that's how I would trade that first open on TWG opening day. Now, obviously, if you've not got that, then what else can we do? So the other thing we can do is wait and play the momentum trade. So the momentum trade is going to be a tough one. You're going to have to let the first few minutes go at least, but the momentum trade is the first pullback for me that comes into these moving averages, which is the 4 EMA and the 9 EMA. You have to wait 9 bars for the 9 and 4 bars for them to show. But here you can see the 4 EMA takes control pretty much straight from the off on the color game. So you don't want to let this kind of consolidation go for any more than really 5 1-minute bars. And you're looking for the red candle to be taken out by the green candle. So that is what we get there. So you can be short at 481 and target is just following the stair steppers. So you get another kind of entry here and then that's it down. You double bottom. If you close above, then you're out. There's not for the consolidation momentum play. That's it. So assuming you're not looking at reading the tape or anything else to see bidders coming in at 4.5, which is pretty much your half round number. That's you can wait. And if you close above here at 470, then you're out of the trade. You can, Deanna, I guess you, from your perspective on this, you'd be pulling a potential fib from 550 to the lows and looking for, you know, that golden area that you could play, right?
I'd be looking for a little bit more price action to show up. Just like you said, I do want to see some kind of a break, some kind of liquidity taken. Once that liquidity is taken, then looking for a break and then a fib. So I agree with you in general. This is a little bit too early for me to be trading this. I would consider an IPO, within the first year and a half, but definitely not this early on, personally.
Gotcha. Understood. So the other thing you can do then on here is wait for a kind of level to be built up and tested more than just once. So here is a nice level that's actually being defended. 450 is being defended by the bidders at this point. At the point that breaks is a decent place to get in. Again, you can play that color change as it moves back to either the 20 moving average here, because this is the second play now. It's kind of playing out further into the day. So don't necessarily go with the first set of moving averages. You can go with the 20 moving average now. And similar thing again, you wait for that color change and the close below that. If you're not just trading the break, then you can take that second one. And again, you can play it down either to the next half or round number down to 350, and 350 gets defended there again. And I think, yeah, it goes again. So that's it's pretty much why I have these moving averages on here. If I'm going to take plays with anything else, or I'm just looking for other plays that would be used, it's kind of the first instance I'm looking to take the momentum play. The second instance, I'm waiting for a pullback to the 20 EMA. And for the third instance, I'm looking for a pullback to kind of the 55 EMA on that one here. So as close as they can get for a color change to occur. And then you can play that to the downside again. Alternatively, you can use an anchored VWAP, and you can use this going into the next day as well. So I've mentioned kind of yesterday and the day before on the NASDAQ, I anchor VWAP on economic releases that have impact on the market, right? So if they've had a big impulse move on that first hour of the news release, and it stays down there. If it's just a wick up and a wick down, I'm not interested. But if it literally moves for 1 hour or 2 hours solid down, closes, and then meanders to the side, then I'm anchoring a VWAP to that. So it's a major kind of economic news release or event. And the same here. This is the first day of the stock. So I'm just kind of using the VWAP from the off. So from the off, you can see that we are coming straight into the VWAP there. So any kind of color change here as well, you can get short. And then in this case, let's take this one off. In this case, you can target the bands below it. Okay, so from here you can get in. It's kind of 480 under the close, and then your first target can come off at 464, or you can trail those moving averages as well until you get to your target too. But then you come off so far from that, there isn't much more pullback to the VWAP itself, so you can play the bands and the moving averages at the same time. So any kind of confluence between the two, we'll see NQ flushing there, I can hear. Any sort of confluence between the two, you can add to or open up a new position. So here we are above. I've got to turn this down, excuse me. I feel like I'm talking louder over it, the louder it gets as everything flushes. There we go. So here you can see we come down, we hit another target onto the band, we come up above the yellow here. This is the second kind of deviation from the VWAP, and then we close under it again. That close under it you can take advantage of. It's also playing off the 20 EMA that we mentioned earlier. So nice bit of confluence there to get short at 410, and just don't expect anything more than the next band down right on day one. You just can target that band down and just follow it through on the way down. So that's how I would play that. And then let's just have a quick look at Reddit, because that was one that we all played on the day. So let's take that back to where it was. I'm going to have some drawings on this. I'll have to remove all drawings on this the day we played it. There we go. So you can see here how I played that. I was kind of waiting for that push up. I actually took this first candle, that spread. See, it's got a big wick on it. So it effectively runs up to 51.65. Then it pulls back to 48.95. And I'm taking that spread, and then I expect the best execution to hold it. So my best that was the yellow line on there. So my best execution price for people to sell into this rally was at 55.45, 55.14. And you can see we kind of wicked up above that. So just like we do on the benchmarks, we start wicking up above it. The first thing I'm doing is drawing in that sell side liquidity pool. If it holds, I get that rejection. Then I'm trying to get short, hoping that best execution level, which gets tapped a couple of times. And all that means is there's shorts coming in at that level. So the shorts come in that level. My target is down here at the buy side liquidity, just like anything else. And that would be me out for the day. If we was going to look again at anything else, nothing to do here because you haven't got any moving averages to play with, and then it starts to roll over in any case. So still nothing to do with this lot. You need some angle on it, and about here is the first time you can say, all right, okay, let's see what we have. We're waiting for a color change. So here we want to see a green bar. There's the green bar. We can play the red below at 51.57, and then we're taking that down until we get a close up here at 50.16. So there's only about 50 cents in that play for you following that strategy. But then there's the next one. So you've taken the yellow moving averages. Now we'll take the 21 EMA and we'll play the color game there. So here we go. There is kind of green, red, green, green, green. There's the red that closes below at 50.63, and you can take that down short as well. And there's a couple of plays on that. I only really take the first one. Let's see if we get, and we don't actually get, there's not enough time in for these to become, it's kind of an indication there could have been an entry there before it goes off sideways into the close. So for taking those plays on, if we put the VWAP on this one, here you can see we kind of use those bands to support and resistance here. Ignoring the red boxes here. Let's move these off. So ignoring that, I'd be waiting for, so we crash straight through the VWAP here. So I'm waiting for the VWAP pullback. So that'll be around here. If you're anticipating that's not quite, but the color change again. This cut, it'll be this bar here, this time at 50.63, and again targeting either 49.52, or you can let it carry on with the moving averages down to the next band. I would leave the anchor on as well for Reddit. So I'd anchor that VWAP, which on the first day is obviously going to be the same, but day two, that anchored VWAP is going to remain the big blue one. And you can look for that to act as support and resistance further down the line then. So I'd leave that on my chart for quite a while, whether it be economic news or whether it be an IPO. So yeah, just looking for that to give me the direction. So all the whilst I'm under it, I'm not really taking shorts. If I can confirm clearly above it, and start to get some angle on price action, meaning the moving averages kind of start to align as well, start to at least have, a kind of 30-degree angle. And that's the point I'm kind of thinking right here, that would be a nice long to see if I could get it. And then I'm playing the moving average game to see if I can get pullbacks to these 55 moving averages as they move along up. So where is Reddit now? Let's have a look at a higher time frame. So yeah, so Reddit went up again, and you see here closed below that that event VWAP, essentially pulled back to it here, and again went sell side. And that's how, so that's where that's the actual volume weighted average from the IPO. So we can see if we pull back to this, look out for that 53 area kind of to act as resistance for Reddit. If it can break above its IPO VWAP, then there is somewhere to go to the upside on Reddit. But until it does that, it's just trying to see if we can grind off these lows. I think that's it for me on IPOs.
We're ready for the daily recap, Scott.
Great. Excellent. Let's do that then. Okay. Let's see what we've got on the recap here. All right. So I'm going to have a drink. You want to go first?
Sure. I was looking at the NASDAQ for a potential short. I ended up taking a short off this break lower here. There was a break and a retrace into this imbalance. So I entered short there. I was trailing my stop. Ultimately, I got stopped out at this level here before price continued further to take out the liquidity on the left side of the chart. So that was a good trade. I had a small starter position in Tesla waiting for a retracement in order to build a full position. Never got the retracement I needed. So just a very, very small position. And then also there was the Trader's Choice entry in GOEV rather. And the entry I was looking for was up in here, ended up somewhere in here, and covered when price started to take off a little bit, and it continued lower. So that's it for the day, for the morning.
All right. Okay, so I have INVO was my first trade here, which was short and short at around 262. Took a little bit of heat on that back up, and then covered it down at my target, which was that buy side liquidity pool just above it. It did then tap into it, right? I covered it just before, and then that's why I cover at that first target, because it's used a lot of the time for, just to dip by and get some liquidity to push it up further into the day. So it looks like there was another short on up there at 350. Nice double top. But yeah, didn't grab that one. And the next one was, what was it, Trader Life? PLCE? I should have it here on my orders history. Okay. Okay, so here we have PLCE. So yeah, just jumped in on what Trader Life was saying. They obviously had been working in this position, only knowing him a few days. I can see the arrows he's got on his chart sitting here, and here. But yeah, I took it as pretty much as soon as I saw that kind of color change. That was that momentum play I'm talking about. Those moving averages would have been sitting there. So taking that down there, and both covering in a similar area. Obviously there was a little bit more on it, but again, same reason I cover there, because you don't know that it's going to continue down at the time it hits that kind of target. So that's mine on PLCE. So there was no Tesla trade with you this morning. It just didn't give it back in the end.
I started a small
you did?
tiny little starter position. I still have it open, and if we get a pullback into this area here, I would add to it. If as long as it's a nice orderly pullback, I would still be interested in adding to the short. As long as the NASDAQ keeps continuing down, I think there's more downside potential for the NASDAQ, but we'll see what happens after lunch. So just a small starter. We'll see. Thanks so much for the feedback. Scott said this has been a helpful session. I'm glad to hear that. If you have any feedback, if you have comments that you'd like to add in the video, if you're watching this on replay, we'd love to hear from you. Ideas that you might have, feedback, what was helpful, what you'd like to see more of. We're trying to improve the show to make it really helpful for you all. And so we rely on your feedback, and we appreciate your feedback and support. So thank you everyone for being with us here today.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. So Trader Life, Mihal, Will, everybody, Great Scott, Danny, Marina, thank you all for those I haven't mentioned. I'm sorry, I don't want to go through everybody, but we do appreciate Patrick. There we go, Patrick, over from Tradecaster. Thanks for coming along as well. So we will be here back with you next week with a brand new topic and some more calls, a little bit more education and something to help you out. So from myself and Deanna, thank you very much. And we will see you all next week. Thanks for coming along.
Thanks, everyone. And Boogie Woogie. Can't forget Boogie Woogie.
And Boogie Woogie. See you later, guys.
Take care.